We can change our lives and the world. And actually, both those things work together. And that's what I wanted to give you today. I had this whole script I was going to give you, but I can't do that because I have to just speak authentically because I want you to understand that you are on the earth right now for a really great reason because there's something within you that wanting to come forward that could tell you how great you are and that you could help heal the world. There's nothing going on in our world that's accidental. We all come into the world the same way as these spirits, as these souls that are energy. But then what happens over time is that we develop a consciousness that may not allow us to live the kinds of lives we want to have or to create the world that we want. And those periods come about, and we're in one now. And my guide Wilhelm said it's a restructuring, meaning we're building something better. We're building a better world. But that has to come through each of us deciding that we want to become better people, which just means becoming your authentic self. And so I'll do that today. And sometimes becoming your authentic self can be really surprising or challenging or difficult. It can be all of those things. And for me, it was surprising because I can tell you, I know you're supposed to live this great life. And there's no reason that you couldn't, other than you haven't moved through the blockages and the things I told you you couldn't have it. I was using my artificial intelligence that said, because they have all my information. I said, tell me what Wilhelm has done and why this works and why it's different. And so I'll leave some of this with you, but I'm going to read it to you. Throughout history, many individuals have brought forward philosophies intended to guide humanity, from spiritual teachings and religious doctrines to modern self help and personal development frameworks. Each has offered insight into the human journey, personal growth, and collective information. But what distinguishes this work, the solution to your life, is its origin and method. Unlike philosophies based on purely intellect, observation, or structured belief system, this is a living, evolving transmission that comes through automatic writing, channeling, and direct reception of cosmic guidance. It goes on, but that's exactly what's happened. And so you have to own who you are in your life journey because it's really valuable. And I know that because my life led me to uncover it all. No matter when we live, we're uncovering something within us that is going to make a difference in the world because that's just how it works. That's how energy works. But those periods where we don't understand that have gone on for so long. And so Wilhelm said, we're going to give you something new. And that's what came through me, and then we'll let you know how it works. Because right now we're at this place where the world looks like it's falling apart. No, it's not. It's just waiting for us to awaken to who we are, and especially me, because I've done something so different that it was hard, but no one in history has done this. That's why I had to read this. I sat down and I channeled all this information in it over years, 36 years. Went through everything in my life and it healed everything physically. Now, the thing that it didn't heal was my financial thing because I couldn't take money. I have a reason for that too, because people said, you must have a money block. Oh, no. And most people don't. It's never about a money blockage because money is readily available. There's abundance. It's always there, except we have blockages of self acceptance because we come into the world to do something unique and be that unique being. And mine was completely unique, and I couldn't accept myself. And that didn't help because I couldn't tell you who you could become then. And I'm just saying this because we all do the same thing. There's no person who has more ability than another to influence those generations that come later, because that's all that ever happens. So now we're in this period where in the United States, and I've written something about that because Wilhelm gave me all the information of what would happen in the United States and how it would be this kind of center point for the change that's happening. And all the stuff that you're seeing, the disruption, is to get you to understand how important you are, is to get you to remember who you are. That's really what it is. So um, I'll leave these documents because I have several of them because Wilhelm gave me things in order. Meaning, there's nothing that's happening in the world that they did not talk about. And if you've listened to some of the older Wilhelm channeling sessions, you will hear that. We live in different dimensions of consciousness. We all have it, but and that consciousness collectively evolves over time, depending on how many of us decide to move to a higher state of understanding of who we are. And so, what I got from all of this is that every single person is born with worth and value. The problem is we've made other things more important, mainly money. How much do you have? How much are you worth? What does that have to do with anything? You hear that thing about you can't take it with you? True. Then you start to understand that you can use energy to heal anything, mind, body, all of that. And that's what Wilhelm gave me. And so that's why I can say at 74, I know what you can accomplish because all that stuff is gone. I was thinking about it today, 30 years of me not being able to walk really well has been healed because of this work. So, and I stopped talking about certain things because I would feel bad when I see people. I'm very, I'm an empath, so I'm empathetic. Empathy is my thing. So when I see people suffering, I said, "Oh, I know you can move through that, but I don't want to talk about it because while you're suffering, except I can't do that. I just want you to know that with the right concentration, with the right work, with the right direction, with the right guidance, you can do anything, and that's exactly what Wilhelm has given me." And there's one document I put together that I'm just going to show you. I'll leave a link here because I wanted to explain why I'm changing things in my work, and you'll see all of this on the site, changing things tomorrow, because this work has the ability to change the world, because it can change your life. It changes your life because it guides you to who you're supposed to be. You see, it guides you to creating the success that you're meant to have in experience, to finding the correct relationship, to being in love, all of those things, because they're emotional. There's nothing out there. It's just the emotions that you're carrying and using, and you have to learn how to use it, and that is in your consciousness. Several years ago, when I knew I had to move, I said, I have something that's more valuable than anything you're going to want during this period, and that is control of your consciousness. And now it is here. So I'm going to do a channeling session on the new moon on the 29th because that's going to be a powerful one. I'd love for you to come to that one, but I'm going to I'll send you a couple of things because Wilhelm has given us all the information even before that date. And that was something that I could not understand, and I'm still figuring it out. I'm just saying that because we're always discovering and figuring out and building something new. But I did something the other day. I started to discover that they'd given us all this information. It was organized. There is organization in the universe. We figure it out at different times. And all the major astrological events that happened last year, Wilhelm gave me the information beforehand. And I thought that couldn't have possibly happened. But now we have AI, and I went back and I checked. I can't tell you how I developed this skill or this whatever you might want to call it, but no one else in history had done this. And I'm going to finish it now because I always had this feeling that we could have a much better life and world, and we can. You just got to let go of all the old stuff. That's how we evolve individually, and that's how the world does as well. But then those periods where we want things to stay the same in our lives or and then we don't move. That's where we are. Now, why the United States? There was a little article I put together because Wilhelm in 2020 gave us all of that information, and I published that on social media. But you can look at all of that. We're moving through a great energetic shift, and it's all aligned with planetary movements and things that have never happened before. Never happened in the history of our country. And we have been the ones who have actually influenced the rest of the world. And so we're trying to figure out that whole thing. But the only way we figure it out and what we want is that for the world to be the one that we want to see. And every person has that idea. You see, so how do you balance that out? It's energy. There's a type of energy that keeps you afraid. That's a lower vibrational, keeps you in fear, that keeps you in disease because of that. And then you can shift it in your consciousness, and then, oh, now I see things differently. And just imagine if more people were doing that. Would we still have wars? Would we still kill one another? That's what would come through on every Wilhelm channeling session. And I go back and listen to them now, and I'm kind of like really surprised because they say the world that you want to see is not guaranteed. Every single session they would say that, because if we don't do something, how can we expect the world to change? See, what we typically do is we push it off on people who are leading us, our politicians or spiritual leaders or really. But what about you? That's what Wilhelm said. They wanted every person to know what they had within them, and that's what makes the difference. And the wonderful result is you can heal things that will blow you away. The only problem will be is belief. And I'm telling you, it was hard for me to believe that I had this. But now I do know it, and I know how important it is. And so that's why I'm taking it to a much larger, greater audience. And it's going to start actually on tomorrow. But I wanted to give you this today, and we'll have the registration for the channeling session, because that'll be a really great one. And then you'll have, I'll show you a couple of other things, because there's an organization in your life. When you were born, there was the time that you came in, and this is the thing that was hard for me to accept, because Wilhelm told me that in 2012, for instance, they gave me a birthday message for you if I were to meet you. I said, that doesn't make any sense. And then it did. And then I started thinking about astrology, which I never studied. I didn't know it, but it's energy and movement. And somehow I'm receiving information that was tied to those astrological changes. Made so surprising. But it also said that's why my physical body healed, because I was in alignment with the energies moving. You'll have that too. But there's a couple of documents I'll leave in this description, because you're not going to look at them now. But I just want you to know you can achieve anything. And the only reason you don't is because you didn't have the guidance, you didn't have the way to get there, and now you do, because I've created it. I had to be able to say that, because I'd kept people away for so long because it didn't make sense to me either. Except now I know it does, and it's going to make sense to you, especially when you see some of the documents. This is the best time to be alive if you decide to own who you are. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the channel if it's your first time, and share it with others, and check out all the work, especially the coming channeling session. Register for that. I'm going to give you a few gifts for that too. Everything is in your consciousness, and you can change it to live the life you want to have. See you soon.